Broncos Country, I've gone back through the 2026 draft class, watched the tape, looked at the roster fit, and honestly, I really like what the Denver Broncos did this year. This wasn't a flashy headline chasing draft. This was a smart draft, a roster building draft, a depth building draft, and maybe most importantly, a draft that fits exactly where this team is right now. I loved almost all of the offensive selections, but my favorite pick has to be Jonah Coleman out of University of Washington. This kid runs angry. He's physical, compact, patient through the hole, and he brings a downhill style that fits perfectly into what Denver wants to do offensively. Coleman feels like one of those guys that Broncos fans will appreciate more every single week once the season starts. He may not have come in with superstar hype, but the value and fit are outstanding. And based on J.K. Dobbins' injury history, this pick was critical. What I also loved about this draft is that Denver addressed needs across both sides of the football, not necessarily with splash names, but with practical roster construction. This class feels less about winning draft weekend and more about building a team that can survive a 17-game season. Now let's talk sleepers. The tape I've watched on Dallen Bentley is really intriguing. To me, he looks like an underdeveloped version of Travis Kelce. That's not saying he is Kelce, let's be clear, but the movement skills, body control, and ability to work soft zones jump off the screen. If Denver develops him properly, this could be one of those how did he last that long picks in a couple years. And then there's Red Murdock. This may end up being one of the steals of the class. Murdock has the kind of motor and physical profile that gives him a real chance to push for meaningful snaps early. I wouldn't be shocked if by the second half of his rookie season, he's competing for a starting role. That's the kind of value you want to find in the later rounds of the draft. Anybody remember Terrell Davis? And let's not forget, Denver's first round impact player was already added through the trade for Jalen Waddle. That changes the way I evaluate this class entirely. When you combine Waddle's explosiveness with the draft additions, Denver didn't just add talent, they added weapons, real weapons. Overall, I'm giving this Broncos draft class a solid B+. Why? Because it checks three major boxes. 1. Talent. 2. Positional need. 3. Draft value. That's how winning organizations draft. And honestly, I'm fired up for this season. The biggest storyline for me is watching what Bo Nix does with these new pieces around him. This is where we start learning what Denver's ceiling really is. More weapons, more depth, better balance. And Broncos country, another run at the Super Bowl absolutely feels like it's in the cards.